Sorry.
Okay. Now we're all awake. We start. Let's just take a little.
Bây giờ bắt đầu học các bạn ha. Yuki lên trên này ngồi chung với các bạn đây đó. Dr. Fair, in this subject, you have assignment, or it will be the selected separate for them.
Yes. You will focus on a particular topic that you want. Each of you will work independently.
Yes. Các bạn lưu ý nha, cái môn này á là cái bài của mình nó sẽ liên quan đến cái đề tài mà mình viết luận văn đó, cho nên cái này là bài độc lập. Mình sẽ chọn tùy theo, ví dụ như marketing hay là nhân sự hay là OB hay là cái gì mình thích. Những cái mảng gì mình thích thì mình cứ viết lại trên. Nói chung là mình cứ chọn cái mà mình yêu thích nhất mà mình muốn nghiên cứu thì mình sẽ phát triển thành cái title của cái topic của cái món này. Là assignment thì cô sẽ viết sau, nhưng mà tôi vừa hỏi cô cũng nhiều.
Okay? Now we go back to where we ended earlier. Now, very fast. Now this is what Mike said. When you convert an alternate variable to alternate hypothesis into null hypothesis, this is how it will look like. The null hypothesis is a statement that does not say whether there is a relationship or not. You just say that there is no significant relationship or difference between the work ethics of Americans and Asian employees. It looks like this study is about the work ethics of employees who are Americans and Asians. But if you want to have a study that will involve different cultures, maybe your variable will be nationality and work ethics. So nationality is not a factor in the work ethics of employees. When you say it in the noun form, you say there is no significant relationship between the work ethics of between nationality and the work ethics of employees. Okay? So now we move to chapter 6. Chapter 6 is, I said earlier that as we go along, I will skip some chapters because you can read them yourself. They're easy enough to understand. But there are chapters that I cannot really skip. For example, chapter 6, elements of research design. So we have already explored the problem area. We have tried to develop the problem statement, which is your assignment. And then we already did a discussion, thoroughly discussed the review of related literature. Then we went on to the theoretical framework and the development of hypothesis. This time, we're going to the research design. This is now chapter 3. Chapter 3 is as important as the other chapters because in the chapter of your thesis, this is where you have your research design. Some call the chapter research design. Some would call it methods of research because that will describe everything that you will do in the process of conducting your research. So this is very important. This is an entire chapter in your thesis. I said there are only 5 chapters: the introduction or the problem, the related literature. This one is the research design or the methods of research. The 4th is the presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. After you've subjected data into the statistical analysis using SPSS, if you want, then you interpret it, analyze and interpret it. And then the last chapter of your thesis will be the findings, conclusions, and recommendations. And your thesis is complete. So this is the 3rd chapter. Yes, Kevin. Okay. chapters in the thesis. The first is the introduction, or what we call the problem. There you will have the introduction, the background, the significance of your study, the statement of the problem, the delimitation of the problem, and you end it with the delimitation of the problem. So, chapter 1, 5 parts. Chapter 2 is review of related literature and studies. The review will get you through reading all the materials from journals, from books, from the internet, from conference proceedings, and many other sources of information. You go and read through all of this, focusing on what you have chosen to study. And then when you have done that, that's for the second chapter, no? Second chapter. When you have done that, you organize it. When you have organized it, you understand your problem better. And that's when you prepare or build your theoretical framework. You identify the variables, you do the theoretical framework, and then at the end of that, you have your null hypothesis. Okay? So you already have your null hypothesis. The third chapter is the research design, or the methods of the study or research. Okay? Here you have described the kind of research or the purpose of the research, the type of research you're doing, whether it's causal, ex post facto, or the other is experimental. Then you describe your process of investigation. Then you describe your population and sample, the people who will consist of your population. The population is the entire aggregate or elements of the population. Your samples will be selected elements from the population. When you have chosen your population and sample, then you have what we call the instrumentation. You describe there what kind of instrument are you going to use. Are you going to use a questionnaire, a survey, a checklist, a scale, or you describe in this portion what you will do, like are you going to do a focus group? Are you going to do an interview? Are you going to do a survey? Okay? So when you describe that completely, you will say in the next part of chapter 3, the kind of statistics that you will use. Okay? What will you use? Are you going to use the mean, the standard deviation, the variance, the analysis of variance, the person-R correlation, and are you going to use regression depending on the type of questions you have and the data that you have? You will use specific statistical tools. And then you will state at the end, you will accept the reject or accept the null hypothesis on the basis of the confidence level, which you set at 0.05. Okay? Then after that, you are done with your chapter 3. So this is part of chapter 3, which is very important. In chapter 4, you just analyze what you have already. And the next thing is how you will write your report. Because there are technical details on how you write your thesis. It's not like writing a love letter. It's not like writing a report in the office for your sales. It's a combination of all of this. Okay? It's technical, it's scientific, it's kind of academic and professional. So let's move on. Okay.
Xin qua lại cho mọi người nha. Thì ý cô hồi nãy giờ là cái bài cấu trúc bài research của mình á, thì đầu tiên là mình cần có cái intro, một cái ước định về cái background của cái vấn đề của mình. Xong rồi mình define ra coi là mình đang gặp vấn đề gì, nêu ra nó xuống, thu gọn nó lại thành một cái research questions. Sau đó là mình thực hiện cái literature review, tức là mình xem các nguồn thông tin. Như các bạn ngày hôm qua mình nói là trong journal có cái gì, trong báo có cái gì, phân loại các loại thông tin này ra. Sau đó tiếp theo là mình làm cái theoretical framework mention tới và mình xác định các biến số ở trong đó, mối quan hệ giữa các biến số này, và đó là cái hypothesis, là cái giả định của mình. Sau khi mà mình làm giả định xong rồi, mình sẽ bắt đầu xác định cái phương pháp mà mình bắt đầu nghiên cứu. Mình nghiên cứu kiểu gì, cái population của mình là ai, cách mình chọn mẫu như thế nào, mẫu của mình chọn dựa trên những cái criteria nào, bao nhiêu người trong mẫu. Tiếp theo là mình bắt đầu mention tới các cái method, tức là những cái công cụ mà mình sẽ thực hiện để tìm kiếm các thông tin mà mình muốn. Ví dụ như là FGD, mọi người làm phỏng vấn nhóm, in-depth interview, phỏng vấn 1-1-1, hoặc là mọi người làm survey online hay là survey giấy, hoặc là mọi người có thể làm experiment, tùy theo từng cái phương pháp mà mọi người chọn. Sau đó thì mọi người sẽ xác định các phép toán mà mọi người sử dụng. Ví dụ như mọi người có thể chạy regression để xác định cái significance, tức là cái mối quan hệ, cái độ mạnh của các mối quan hệ với nhau. Hoặc là mọi người chạy square test, đây là cái test mà ở trong statistics nó có, hoặc là cái standard deviation, hoặc là những cái con số trung bình. Đây là những con số một xác suất thống kê ha, tùy theo mọi người chọn toán nào để làm. Rồi sau đó là mình sẽ bỏ cái data cho nó chạy, sau đó mình sẽ có kết quả, rồi mình sẽ biết được là bây giờ mình sẽ accept cái null hypothesis hay là mình sẽ reject nó. Thì cái hypothesis H1, H0 là mình sẽ có nó. Dạ, cái cấu trúc xuyên suốt của các bài điều soạn.
Any question? You have any question regarding what Luis said? So is it clear that we are going to proceed only according to what we consider to be important? Those that can be taken later on, like after you have the data, we analyze that, which is subject to statistical treatment using a software. We may not have to stay there very long. Okay. Now, purpose of the study. In the research design, the purpose of the study is explained. For example, in the introductory paragraph of chapter 3, you may say that this is a study that intends to explore the relationship between a dependent variable such, so and so, and the other variables that may be affecting it, so and so and so. Then you say exploratory study. Why is it considered to be an exploratory study? So what is an exploratory study? Anybody can read it? Okay, Tony, can you read in English? Of course you know.
And exploratory studies is undertaken when not much is known about the situation at hand, or no information is available on how similar problems or issues has been solved in the past.
Okay, so that is an exploratory study. The reason why it's exploratory is there has been no study that is known that has been done in the past, or there has been some studies, but none of the studies have explored to answer the question that you are interested in at the moment. So that is why it's called exploratory. Okay? In such cases, extensive preliminary work needs to be done to understand what is occurring, assess the magnitude of the problem, or the familiarity. Now this is where you do a lot of data gathering. Since it is exploratory, no information is available on the specific variable that you are actually studying. Then you need to go out and get information about this. Extensive. Okay? You have to do an extensive preliminary work. Before you can even ask the questions of the study, you need to do an extensive preliminary work. So, if you say that in chapter 3, this is an exploratory study, then you have to explain what you did in the past before you got to that point. As such, the researcher, you always speak of yourself as the researcher. Do not say I, my. Don't refer to yourself as I or myself. Always refer to yourself as the researcher. This is an exploratory study. As such, the researcher had to do an extensive preliminary investigation on the topic. He went around to investigate managers, went around to investigate financial managers, went around to discuss, do a focus group consisting of financial people in the different companies that are of interest to the researcher. So the reason why you have to see that is after the preliminary exploration of information, that is the only time when you develop your problem, you develop your hypothesis, you develop your variables, identify your variables. So you must have a very strong foundation, and that's exploratory.
Tóm lại, exploratory study tức là khi mà các anh chị chẳng hạn như mình sau khi mà mình xác định cái vấn đề mình xong, mình xác định tất cả các biến số của mình trong đó ra mà mình không có cái thông tin nào về cái biến số này, hoặc là không có một cái báo cáo cụ thể nào mà nó dẫn chứng thẳng tới cái vấn đề mà các anh chị cần nghiên cứu, khi đó các anh chị cần phải đi ra ngoài tự tìm kiếm thông tin data rồi tự đi hỏi han này thêm, thì nó gọi là exploratory, tức là cái tình huống mà chúng ta không có đầy đủ thông tin trong tay mà chúng ta không biết gì về cái vấn đề chúng ta research, hoặc là có thông tin nhưng nó không direct, nó không cụ thể chính xác cái vấn đề của mình mà cái nó đâu riêng ở bên ngoài thôi, tự là mình phải đi tìm thêm, gọi là exploratory. Explore tức là đi khám phá. Chẳng hạn như ví dụ như mình có một cái motivation và lương đi, thì chẳng hạn như không có một cái báo cáo cụ thể nào về lương của một cái công ty, thì chúng ta cần phải đi hỏi từng người một, thì nó gọi là explore. Chúng ta đang đi explore cái lương của từng người của công ty, tại vì nó không có báo cáo. Chỉ vậy.
Okay, so thank you. The good thing about exploratory studies is you are given the leeway to redirect, change some of your questions, even in the middle. Because you are exploring. If you find that there's a better question that you need to ask, you do it. Okay? Next. Descriptive. Okay, so studies may be either exploratory, descriptive, or causal in nature. The nature of the study, whether it is exploratory, descriptive, or causal, depends on the stage to which knowledge about the research topic has advanced. In other words, you do exploratory when little has been written about the topic. Okay? Now, what about descriptive study? Can you read this? Anyone? Kevin? Descriptive study.
Descriptive studies are often designed to collect data that describe the characteristics of persons, events, or situations. Descriptive research is either quantitative or qualitative in nature. It may involve the collection of quantitative data, such as
That should be data.
Production figures, sales figures, or demographic data, but may also entail the collection of qualitative information.
Okay, very clear. A descriptive study is designed to collect data that will describe the characteristics of persons, events, or situations. So you're talking about people, you're talking about events, you're talking about situations. You do a descriptive study. Descriptive research is either quantitative or qualitative. When you say quantitative, then you can apply quantities. You can assign quantities like scores, like figures like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can assign them for quantitative study. And therefore, when you have numbers, you can actually analyze them quantitatively. But there are certain times when you also need to collect qualitative studies. Qualitative studies are those that you get when you interview. You have no figures. You do not score the answers of your interviewers. So you just collect information by interviewing, or you collect information by doing focus group. There are no assigned per group. So that is qualitative. But you get a massive information or an extensive information about the people, about the event, or about the situation that you're trying to understand. For example, in the Philippines, there is an unrest in the south. You must have heard about the 44th elite group of the Philippine National Police being killed in the south of the Philippines by rebels, Muslim rebels.
IS?
No, so these are MILF, Moro Islamic
Yeah.
Liberation Front. And
South Philippines.
yeah, the southern part of the Philippines. And BIFF, Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters. They're different. Then we have the MNLF, Moral National Liberation Front. So different groups, all fighting, saying that they want freedom or they want to be independent, they want to have their own government. It's what they say. But it's creating trouble in the south of the Philippines. You want to understand it. Why? These are all Filipinos, but why are they trying to do that? Why do they want their own government? Now, if it's a research, you cannot actually put a score on what the Moro National Liberation Front would like. Even if you interview them, you can only record what they say. Now, the data you will get from that is what we call qualitative data. Okay? In qualitative data, you cannot apply any statistics, but you can actually try to put together the ideas that you got from different sources of people through interviews, through observation, through focus groups. Okay? There. So you can do descriptive research using or getting either quantitative data or qualitative data. Okay? So when you do quantitative, you do scaling, measurements. You assign scores to every answer that everybody gives. Just like what we did. I did a checklist, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the scores assigned. But in qualitative, no such thing. Okay?
Qua explain là cái này xíu ha. Như hồi nãy cái exploratory nó đi từ chữ explore có nghĩa là khám phá. Còn cái descriptive study nó đi từ chữ describe. Mọi người biết describe không? Describe là mô tả. Khi mà mọi người muốn mô tả một cái gì đó thì mọi người cần phải thu thập các thông tin về người đó nè. Thì có hai cái chính mà mình có thể thu thập thông tin là qualitative hoặc là quantitative. Qualitative là sao? Là những cái thường chúng ta thực hiện đó bằng interview. Thì cái mà chúng ta thu được là những đoạn câu, những chữ, những cái paragraph. Và sau khi chúng ta interview xong, mô tả một người nào đó. Ví dụ như em sẽ hôn với nhóm khoảng 4 người, cũng hỏi em vòng coi mô tả chị Thanh là một người như thế nào. Thì cái đó là những cái em có được là từ quantitative. Còn nếu như mà em muốn quantitative tức là em muốn measure cái gì đó, chẳng hạn như sự chăm chỉ của chị Thanh đi. Em đi pass survey trong mấy cái lớp học, họ sẽ scale chị Thanh từ 1 tới 5 là trong cỡ nào. Sau đó em ra được kết quả. Thì cái đó là em đang measure cái sự chăm chỉ của chị Thanh. Nó cũng là một cách để mô tả chị mà. Thì nó cũng gọi là cái descriptive study. Thì tóm lại đối với descriptive mình có hai cái. Một là dùng qualitative, hai là quantitative, và mục đích chính của nó là mô tả một sự hiện tượng, mô tả một cái vấn đề gì đó. Là sau khi chúng ta explore xong, explore là chúng ta không biết gì về nó cả, explore xong là biết nó là cái gì rồi thì chúng ta sẽ bắt đầu đi mô tả nó.
Okay. Then descriptive studies may help the researcher to understand the characteristics of the group, think systematically about aspects in a given situation. Other ideas for further probe and research help make certain decisions, such as decisions related to the use of specific communication channels in the organization, and etc. etc. So almost everything that you want to study can be considered descriptive, because you already find information about this in the literature, and therefore they cannot be exploratory. Unless there is something that is very novel, very new, that comes to your mind and then you want to study it, that becomes exploratory. Otherwise, anything that you might want to study, whether it is the, factors, for example, or about all of these things we have talked about this morning. This will all be descriptive study. Clear? So you will all be doing this descriptive study, but you will still use statistics. Okay, causal study. You may also want to do causal study. Causal studies are at the heart of scientific approach to research. Such studies test whether or not one variable causes another to change. In causal study, the researcher is interested in delineating one or more factors that are causing the problem. So in the descriptive, you just want to describe what is. In the causal study, you want to describe what causes, what compels, or what reason is there for something to happen. So that is a causal study. In other words, when you are trying to test relationships or differences, you are actually doing a descriptive causal study. So you're mixing the two. Okay, causal study. Luis?
Cái causal research tức là khi người ta chỉ tìm cái nguyên nhân của kết quả, tức là sau khi mà descriptive là mình mô tả, đúng không? Là mình tìm kiếm các cái thông tin này nọ, xong hết rồi. Bây giờ bắt đầu mình có tất cả các thông tin này, mình sẽ tìm mối tương quan của nó, đâu là nguyên nhân, đâu là kết quả, rồi nó tương tác với nhau như thế nào thì gọi là causal research. Tức là cái bước cuối cùng trước khi mình là cái causal research là các test analysis.
Okay, so it's clear. As far as the purpose of the study is concerned, there are three purposes: exploratory, descriptive, and causal. Okay, this is different from the methods of the study. These are just the purpose of the study. Now we will look at the research methods or strategies. How do you conduct the study? The first is you do experiments. Is anybody here interested to do experimentation? You want to experiment on a new product? You have to develop it from scratch. But if you're just trying to determine the market segmentation of a particular community where your product is present, then it is nothing but descriptive. You want to show where your product is and what the market share of your product is at the moment. Okay? So, but if you want to do experiment, you do it in a laboratory. So an experiment is usually associated with deductive research, a scientific or hypothetical deductive approach to research. In other words, in experiment, you may have already something that you know exists, but you are testing it, and therefore